First scrimmage, pleased with the effort, pleased with the physical nature of it all. Very rusty. I mean, when you look at the big picture, and certainly this is not a scrimmage to evaluate where you are necessarily as an offense or as a defense, as much as this is a big personnel scrimmage. That's why we went so long. We went about 170 plays, which is a huge scrimmage. But you're getting about 50 plays with your ones, and then we got about 60 with our twos and 60 with our threes. And I just want to make sure we're getting a great evaluation on some of those young guys that were redshirted a year ago and giving them a fair opportunity to turn and show what they can do out on the field. But I thought the attitude was great. I thought the physical nature of it was great. We can get better on both sides of the ball, a lot of areas for improvement, but this wasn't a scheme scrimmage. This one was about personnel. And we'll sit down, we'll grade it as a staff, we'll watch it, and then we will turn and we'll develop our depth chart. And I would imagine that after we have a chance to meet with the players and everything, we'll probably release that on Tuesday or Wednesday.
I know you guys still have to look at the film, but just off the top of your head and remembering what transpired, anybody stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was, the guy with the ball, Darryl Scott stood out. I mean, he runs physical, he ran hard, he ran north and south with everything, and I think he's done a great job of picking up the offense. I think Rashard Clyde is a young guy running around. He stood out a little bit to me today, just with the way that he can run. Was really impressed with Q Eatman. Q Eatman is a redshirt freshman. That's a guy that's gone in there and he's been working with the first unit for the most part, and I think he's shown that he deserves to be there. I mean, he's done you're talking about a true freshman, a guy that redshirted last year. He's a true freshman right now. And I think he's done an amazing job for a young guy being on the offensive line where it's so hard to play early. I thought wasn't really a receiver. Evan Landy's just solid, catches everything that's thrown to him. I think Sterling Griffin made some catches today. But I think overall, I thought there were some great individual efforts on both sides of the ball. But I'm going to have to turn and sit down and watch a film to really who on a consistent basis every down. There were some flashes. Where the guy running. Michael June can run. Michael June did some good things. Rashard Clyde did some good things. Mark Joyce came up. He's not afraid. He'll come up and hit you. There was some physical shots, but I just got to watch the film to be fair. To the players that played it. But really pleased with the effort, the overall attitude that we got out here today. You go 170 plays and with the heat like this, when they haven't been used to playing every day, this was a physical day for them. They'll be sore.
Eatman at tackle, Rashard was at linebacker?
Rashard's at linebacker, Jim's at linebacker, and Eatman was at right tackle. Yeah, it was where he got most of his work today, and really pretty invisible. And that's a good thing. I'm not saying that bad like he didn't show up, because when you're young, you show up a lot, normally in a bad way. You give up a sack, you jump off sides, you go the wrong way, those things. But he was invisible. He did a really nice job.
Being your first scrimmage of spring, what do you gauge yourself from this time last year?
Just a light years from where we are, knowledge about our players knowledge about us, where we are right now as a team in the offense and the defense, and picking up the terminology, we're way ahead. But when I look at it, every year you have freshmen. Every year you have young guys. We've got to replace, obviously, with Sims and Bass and Samson Jennis, and you're replacing Bedford and Marshall and Terrell McLean, and you're replacing Mr. Raven. Some guys got to step up. We lost some really good players. And so there's always that learning curve that goes into it every spring. And I don't care how long you've been at one school or how long you've been in coaching, every year you have freshmen. I'm trying to get to where I have no freshmen, but every year you have freshmen, and that's part of what you build. And you all have heard me use the expression that every football team has that life expectancy of 1 year. This is a new team. It's a new year. It's different personalities. Meeting with the seniors a little bit about their leadership afterwards, just about what is expected of them and the role that I expect them to play. And they've got to pick up that role that all those seniors I just mentioned who are now gone played for us a year ago. So it's a new team. It's a new challenge for us as a staff. It's a new challenge for us as a program and as a team to turn and continue to grow and continue to progress and take those steps forward to be where we want to be.
Obviously, the two lines, defense and offense, took the biggest hit from last year. Do you feel like you're making the strides that you need to make in those areas right now?
And that's where I'm really going to have to watch the film. I feel like Claude Davis did some really nice things at defensive end today. And you've got a Patrick Hampton who's played a lot of football for you, and you've got Ryan Giddens and Juju Forte. So there's enough depth still there, even though you lost two really good ends in Hampton and Marshall. But I think there's some really good players that are still there. I think Keith McCaskill continues to get better on the defensive line. Corey Grissom's impressing me. Todd Chandler showed up a couple times today and did some good things. Have to watch how consistent he was, but I thought he did some good things today. So we've got to replace those guys, but I think there's some guys there. We just got to get them experience and get them to where they're comfortable playing in the system.